Hi. Today I'm just gonna talk about what I learned today. So I'm just gonna talk about the important thing today, which is the bootloader. Um, so I know I took a video of what is bootloader or those kind of thing, and what is instruction and how we get from the bootloader and how we make operating system, and 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 the reason why I retake this video of it is because I might forget of this kind of concept, and also I asked for professor because professor talk about the operating system about concept thing, and professor said this bootloader is not software. So I was like, no, it's not software, but so we had some kind of discussion with the chat, reaching message, and she and she admitted that is the software. So let's do it. So what is really a bootloader, and why do we need bootloader? Actually, when we trying to make some kind of operating system, so operating system, so what is operating system? So operating system does everything for us, like resource management or those kind of thing. But important thing is that the honest kernel is, I think that is really crucial thing of it. But but after but operating system runs after the computer boost, right? So we tend to think about turn on the computer, and then the operating system runs. And that is really simplified, but actually it is not. If you look at how does it work, it's like BIOS or UEFI, and second is the bootloader, and next that is OS kernel image. So what is the first software in our computer system? The first software is actually the bootloader, not the operating system. So what is bootloader? Bootloader is just the software first software to boot to boot the computer and sends the OS kernel image into RAM or some kind of memory that can be executed. So that means that bootloader can be affect on your computer performance of the booting. What exactly means that if bootloader is the fast, your computer boots the fast. So what's the factor of the bootloader fast is just the order kernel image of the size of it. And if you're trying to elaborate more, there's some kind of rule of the bootloader. So because bootloader is just the crucial thing when you're trying to boot your computer and OS kernel loads. So bootloader has to be some kind of that has to be some kind of interface. What I mean interface? If you're an engineer, you eventually make a promise with your coworkers. You are a front-end engineer, you will have some kind of promise or some promise of like API interface, those kind of it. If you break the interface, there's gonna be so much terrifying incident very gonna happen. Example, my ex company, Toll Securities, had some kind of 100 million API calls in the back office because this interface broke. So let's recap. So there's some kind of interface to store the bootloader code. Why? Because bootloader has to be not volatile. So what it means that it has to be not it has sorry it has to be maintained even the power off. So, and also, which also means that it has to be stored into some kind of the ROM or disk or those kind of thing. But mostly we store in the hard disk, and not hard disk. I think those floppy disk or those kind of thing, but actually disk. So bootloader is. Let's recap. Bootloader is a software that's stored in the disk, and the reason we store the disk because we have to maintain this kind of software after power off. And bootloader is really and the bootloader has to be fast because it can be give the effect on the computer booting speed. And bootloader the size is 100 terabyte. the max size is 100 terabyte. But why? But why? The why? Because the bootloader has to be stored in the sector of the disk. Why? Because bootloader has to be maintained in our computer system, so it has to be stored in the disk of the sector inside the disk, which is 100 terabyte. To elaborate more, it just has to be 46 byte, and for the validation, and minus 400 minus 46 byte is gonna be like 456 byte or those kind of things, but I don't know about math. So. And what's very important is because bootloader, because when you're trying to build a operating system, you eventually make a bootloader's code. So, and it's really easy. It's just like, but it has to be kernel image, because bootloader is just the software that sends kernel image to the RAM or ROM. Not, it has to be RAM, yeah. And also, if you wanna print the hello world via in the bootloader, that's really easy. You can use BGA hardware, which is the inside, which is inside of the graphics, your graphics. So you can use BGA hardware to print some kind of characters in your screen. And the most important part is the address of the printing your character has to be starting beginning with the 0xb8000. It's just the promise. Yeah. So this is just kind of recap why bootloader is important and why we need some kind of bootloader and why bootloader is the software. And so this is it. Have a nice day and see you next time. Bye bye.